Have you ever woken up and just felt it? That knot of anxiety in your stomach before anything has even happened? It's a weirdly common feeling. So the big question is, why? Why on earth does our brain cook up anxiety when there's nothing to be anxious about? Well, let's dive in and figure that out.
This is something you hear all the time, and it feels like a total puzzle, doesn't it? If there's no obvious threat, no big stressful meeting on the calendar, where is this feeling coming from? This one sentence, this feeling, that's the mystery we're going to solve today.
All right, so let's crack this mystery wide open. What feels like a really strange and confusing experience is actually a pretty understandable process once you see how our bodies work. It really all comes down to a simple idea. Our bodies get good at what they practice. And here is the absolute key to the whole thing. Your nervous system adapts. Seriously, think of it like a muscle. If you're constantly practicing the stress response, your body gets incredibly good. Super efficient at creating it. The alarm system gets so sensitive that it just goes off on its own, without any real trigger. To really get this, we need to picture our bodies as having two basic operating modes, two different chemical states. It's kind of like we have two factories inside of us, one that cranks out stress chemicals and another that makes happiness chemicals. So on one hand, you've got threat mode. That's your survival gear, right? Your heart pounds, your muscles get tight, your focus gets razor sharp. But on the flip side, you've got well-being mode. Everything just softens. Your breathing gets deeper. You feel relaxed. We need both, for sure, but the balance is everything. And that really gets to the heart of it. Look, stress is not the enemy. We absolutely need it to deal with real dangers. The problem starts when that stress factory is working overtime, just pumping out chemicals around the clock, even when we're totally safe. So if there isn't a real threat in the room, what's keeping that factory fired up? Well, that's where our own brains come into the picture. Our thoughts can be the very fuel that keeps that stress cycle spinning. And the main culprit here actually has a name. It's called rumination. It's that mental habit of just getting stuck on a loop. You're either replaying something that already happened over and over, or you're imagining a future problem from every possible angle.
Now, this rumination tends to go in two different directions. First, you've got pre-thinking. That's when you're spinning out all the what-if scenarios about the future. And then there's post-thinking, which is when you get stuck replaying old conversations or events from the past.
And this right here, this might be the most important piece of the puzzle. To your nervous system, there is virtually no difference between a real tiger standing in front of you and one you're just vividly imagining. A worried thought can trigger the exact same full-body stress response. Your body literally believes your thoughts are real. So this constant state of activation is absolutely exhausting, right? Well, there's a really useful idea from the world of engineering that perfectly explains why. It's called a duty cycle, and it turns out our nervous system has one too. Put simply, a duty cycle is just how long a machine can run at full power before it needs a break. If you push it past that limit for too long, it overheats and starts to break down. Sound familiar? So get this, a certain type of industrial welder might have a duty cycle of just 15%. What that means is, in any 10-minute period, it can only run at full blast for about a minute and a half. The rest of the time, it has to cool down. It's built for short, intense bursts. And that is a perfect metaphor for our stress system. It's a high-intensity tool designed for short-term challenges. It was never meant to be running on a 24/7 marathon schedule. When we do that, our whole system just starts to burn out. Okay, so we've laid out the problem, and it can feel a little heavy. But the good news, and there really is good news, is that there is a reset button. There's a way to get this overwhelmed system to calm down, and it involves a very specific shift in our attention. The strategy is incredibly simple, but don't let that fool you. It's so powerful. You intentionally move your focus away from the nonstop chatter in your head and bring it directly into the physical sensations happening in your body right now. And here are some fantastic ways to do that. Notice what all these have in common. It's not about achieving anything. It's not about painting a masterpiece or dancing perfectly. The whole point is to just feel it. Feel the rhythm in your body, feel the paintbrush in your hand. It's all about sensation. And here is the magic of why this works. Our thoughts can time travel, right? They can zoom into the future or get stuck in the past, But physical sensation, the feeling of your feet on the floor, the sound of birds outside, can only happen in the here and now. It anchors your nervous system in the present, which is where it can finally realize, hey, there's no tiger here, I'm safe. By practicing this shift, we can do a lot more than just manage stress. We can actually begin to retrain our entire system and set a much more powerful and positive goal for ourselves. I absolutely love this reframe. Instead of constantly trying to shut down the stress factory, what if you just focused all your energy on building up your happiness factory? What if your new goal was to become an expert at producing calm, joy, and a sense of well-being? So, just remember that core idea. Your body is a learning machine. The same way it got so efficient at creating stress, it can, with practice, get just as good or maybe even better at creating calm. You can literally change your body's default setting. And that leaves us with one last question to take with you. The goal isn't to stop thinking. That's impossible. The goal is to become aware. Start to notice the difference. Ask yourself, is my thinking right now serving me? Is it a useful tool? Or is it just quietly running that stress machine in the background? Answering that question for yourself, well, that can change everything.